Ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing live stream tonight. I want to thank you all for being here. William, Caroline, Eric, everybody here, Susanna, everyone here, thank you so very, very much. Timothy, hello, and Steppenwolf, starting it off to my super chat. Thank you so very much, everybody, to my super chat. I cannot do this without you. If you want to talk about any topic, from the fabricated document they found at Mar-a-Lago to the fact that we are entering a third quarter of negative growth. We're in a prolonged recession, ladies and gentlemen. A prolonged recession. This is not a joke. What did Trump do to these people for them to have record highs in household median income in 2019 and a record low in poverty? A record low in poverty. This is according to CNN and all the data. Now we're going on 3 quarters of negative growth. Okay, a prolonged recession. They tried to redefine recession into, 2 quarters of negative growth, shrinking economy. It ain't that bad. It's not that bad. At least Trump isn't tweeting. What did Trump do to these people? My God. Why would you choose a recession bordering on a depression eventually rather than have Trump? I don't understand that. But hit subscribe to this channel. Paul Clank, hello. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Hello, Paul. Hello, Paul. Thank you so very much. To my super chat, I cannot do this without you. Thank you so very much. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Also, please go ahead. I have my first short here. So the short, I just put it, actually, I don't even know if let's see, does that link even work? Okay, I just removed it, but let's see. The short is right here. It's the first short that I've done on this channel. So there you go. There you have me. Hey, look, it's me. And H.A. Goodman Shorts, not that many views, 2.4, little over 2.5, around 2,500. But if you go right here, let's see if I can share it. Let's see if I can share it with everybody here, ladies and gentlemen. So, my first short ever. And let's see. Oh, there it is. There it is. So if you click on that, you will get, I believe you will get, I don't even know if you'll get the short or not. But let me just, I don't know if that's the right. But go to the homepage and click on the shorts section. You'll get the short. It's very good. It's me and James Comey side by side. The Honorable James Comey. You will love it. You will absolutely love it. Phony document lands on court docket in Trump's search case. A document purporting to be from the U.S. government and claiming the Treasury Department had information related to the search at Donald Trump's Florida estate was a fabrication. The Associated Press. They actually were deceived by a fabricated document that very likely Trump planted for them. Somebody planted the document. It's a fabricated document that didn't just accidentally appear. So, when a government document mysteriously appeared earlier this week in the highest profile case in the federal court system, it had all the hallmarks of a major storyline in this Justice Department's investigation into the classified records stored at former President Donald Trump's Florida estate. The document purported to be from the U.S. Treasury Department, claiming that the agency had seized sensitive documents related last month. The document purported to be from the U.S. Treasury Department, claimed that the agency had seized sensitive documents related to last month's search at Mar-a-Lago and included a warrant ordering CNN to preserve, quote, leaked tax records. The document remained late Thursday on a court docket, but it is a clear fabrication. A review of dozens of court records and interviews by the Associated Press suggest the document originated with a serial forger behind bars at a federal prison complex in North Carolina. The incident also suggests that the court clerk was easily tricked into believing it was real, landing the document on the public docket in the Mar-a-Lago search warrant case. So, it's pretty easy to deceive the courts and the government. Michelle Lucas! HA, you are truly amazing. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so very much. So kind of you. And thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate the support. I cannot do this without you. Michelle Lucas, you are wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, and I hope you're having a great evening and a great Saturday. Thank you, Michelle. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. So, you have, ladies and gentlemen, a situation where they were deceived into believing a completely fabricated document had something to do with classified data at Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Michelle, thank you again. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. Thank you. And so, the incident suggests that the court clerk was easily tricked into believing it was real, landing the document on the public docket in the Mar-a-Lago search warrant case. It also highlights the vulnerability of the U.S. court system and raises questions about the court's vetting of documents that purport to be official records. This makes the DOJ look really bad for a number of reasons. Love Trucks, hello. Michelle, thank you again. And Steppenwolf, thank you for starting it off. Thank you, Steppenwolf. They don't have anything on Trump. They're going after him for public relations. The political stunt as usual. Democrats investigate because they don't have actually crimes. They can't find crimes to indict and convict on. So they investigate. They investigate themselves to hide the crime. So they do two things. They investigate for two different reasons. When it's Democrats like Hunter or Hillary, they'll say, well, we're still investigating Hunter's emails. We're still investigating the servers. Well, you're investigating because there are crimes there, but like I explained in the short, James Comey himself stated, although there's potential violations of the legal statutes regarding the handling of classified data, no reasonable prosecutor would indict. Okay? Anthony, hello. And so you have a situation where he already stated, okay, Comey already stated that Clinton did commit crimes. He didn't indict. We know that Hunter, even in his videos, there's a movie out, go watch the movie. I heard it's awesome. But in his emails and his voicemails and his text messages and his, communication that there's graft and bribery schemes. Okay? Dante, hello. There's graft and bribery schemes. And those are serious felonies. Those are serious national security risks. When you have the ear of the president of the United, or the vice president is meeting with your business associates in the West Wing. That's a huge problem, ladies and gentlemen. A huge problem. And D'Artagnan, hello, thank you, D'Artagnan. I hope all is well. Thank you so much. D'Artagnan Valentino, thank you. The issue here is they're investigating Trump because they know that media will sell or will get a lot of clicks, sell papers with the belief that one day, this man will be convicted and he'll be sent to prison for being with Stormy or colluding with the Kremlin, or his tax returns or pressuring officials. He pressured officials. He colluded. None of these things are actual crimes. These are all like subjective, ambiguous, very broad allegations. What is pressuring? What does that mean, pressure? Did he fire anyone? Did he withhold $1 billion in loan guarantees like some people named Mashed Potato Brains? What did this man do? His tax returns. He shows compromise. He's in compromised situations. You think Trump would care about being on video? He would sell it in 2 seconds and make money from it, or he would never even, it's not his thing. But they're like, oh, he's on video. There's a video. It's a compromise. He's not like the average person. He doesn't care. He doesn't have that same, if anybody, generally what you should do, if anybody says, I have a tape of you with farm animals You should be like, just go ahead and play the tape. This is 2022. I'm gonna sue you for the revenue. I mean, that's what really you should do. There's really like this compromising situations. This is not like 1955. This is in 2022. So you have a situation where they're trying desperately to get this man. They're trying desperately to get this man. And Michelle, thank you again. And Steppenwolf, thank you. D'Artagnan, thank you. They're trying desperately to get him. They can't get him. Paul Clank, thank you as always. They can't get him. And here is the reason, okay? Go to not many people, although there are some really great financial channels, but not many people are going to go to GDP Now. GDP Now. Yeah. What's this? 2 weeks ago when they were like desperately trying to say that, the economy was good, desperately trying to, they're like 2.6% GDP growth. Now it's 0.5%. And the GDP Now estimate is always above what actually the GDP comes out as. So this is the third quarter. First quarter, negative, contracting economy, shrinking economy. Second quarter, negative, shrinking economy. Third quarter, wah, wah, wah. Third quarter. And tell me if the fourth quarter is going to be growth. This will be an entire year of negative growth. And I think that we haven't had that since what, 08? No, I think even 08 we didn't have. When was the last year we had an entire year of negative growth? This is stagflation, high interest rates, high inflation, and you're going to see, unfortunately, layoffs. And people voted for this. Don't you understand? There was a choice. It was Trump's tweets with the great economy, or mashed potato brains Joe with an invasion in Europe and a recession bordering on a depression. And wealthy people don't see it. People are, oh, what's the problem? I went to the mall the other day and people were buying lots of things. It's like, well, yeah, there was $10 trillion pumped into the economy. The economy is slowly in free fall, ladies and gentlemen. Church of Infinite Knowledge, hello. Steelers Freak, hello. Another definition, exactly. And the third, it'll be like NPR will come out with a numbers today for the GDP were negative in the third quarter. GDP Now estimates showed 0.5% growth, but actually, the Federal Reserve came out and said negative third quarter. Economists that we've spoke to call that a growth recession depression growth. It's actually a very good thing because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel right before launching into an economic fantastic boom. Experts say this is the best thing that could happen. In other news, Trump is being investigated for trying to sell the planet to Martians. Yes, it's true. But Bob Woodward has a book coming out. Oh my God, Trump, bad Trump, criminal Trump. Third quarter of negative growth means that, blue skies are ahead. That's how they're gonna sell everything. That's what they always do. That's what they always do. It's they will never admit, like, they would never admit that their policies were absolutely horrendous. And if you have a third quarter of negative, you do the math on this, okay? Cash flow, hello. You do the you do the math on this. We have negative growth for 3 quarters in a row, plus inflation at 8 to 9%, plus rising interest rates. You do the math. You do the math on that. And with Trump, we had household median incomes at record highs, poverty at a record low, with interest rates at 2%. You do the math on that. Okay? That's why all they're doing is investigating Trump. We're investigating Trump. We're investigating him. But you won't be able to investigate him for too long. You won't have the House anymore. Now we'll have 4 years of Republicans in the House investigating Democrats. Exactly. Programming flaw. Exactly. This man came in, Mashed Potato Brains Joe came in with a V-shaped recovery. He was very slow to open up the entire economy in his first year. And then when he opened up the economy, everyone smart was saying, hey, there's inflation. And Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen and Federal Reserve and Treasury people were talking about, if you listen to them, they're very intelligent people. They're very intelligent people. And inflation is transformative and temporary. I would use that other word, but it sounds like something that we can't talk about. When you hear them speaking, the economy is running on all cylinders. This is one of the Treasury people. What about inflation? And that's really not a problem. Alessandro, I think you're right. But I mean, it's like, um, it was really what's taking place is that we are on a free fall in terms of the economy. As I beg for super chat, and Michelle, everybody here, thank you so very much. Michelle, thank you so much, and everybody here, as I beg for super chat and for people to subscribe to the channel, which is free, but tell your friends. We're at 1,000 away from 200,000 subs. It's because of you. Tell your friends about this channel. But we are in a very precarious situation. We're in a predicament. The entire American political establishment will stop at nothing to prevent Trump in 2024. They might even indict an innocent man. Okay? But the Jane, it depends. It would have to depend on the questions though, but um the economy is in free fall. We have a recession that's going into a third quarter of negative growth. And you tell me, is there going to be a fourth quarter? You tell me. Anthony, I know I do need to get a haircut. Love Trucks, is there going to be positive growth? Michelle, everybody here, is there going to be positive growth in the fourth quarter of this year? Because if oil prices go up above $100, and they will, if layoffs start taking place throughout numerous industries, not just tech, and they will, unfortunately, interest rates keep going up in a recession of more than 2 quarters going on 3 quarters. Does that make any sense? You don't have to give a super chat in the comment section. Does it make any sense? Who does this? Who does this? Why would you raise interest rates in a recession when you're raising interest rates because you have 8 to 9% inflation, but you're not raising interest rates to 8%? So it doesn't make any sense. And the whole thing is, I mean, there's a cataclysmic crash around the corner, and then you have a derivatives nightmare. Mary Goodwin, thank you. Thank you, Mary. And so they don't have the only thing they have, and I've been talking about this, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you watch the channel. That's why I don't have many bells and whistles. I just have me, and I'm going to grow the other 2 channels. But it's just me and my thoughts and, my writing and whatever it is you like about this channel. But I've been telling you, Mary, thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, Mary. Greatly appreciated. I've been telling you about this since October of 2021. Read my Federalist article in October. It's below in the pinned comment and description of almost every one of my segments, definitely the uploads. I said Democrats are um, are hurtling the country towards a stock market crash. Mary, thank you again. And in September, I started the stock market crash channel. And I don't know what Trump did to these people for them to actually vote for a recession. You're voting for people who govern based on a bucket list of oftentimes irrational, but policies that are either impossible to implement or not pragmatic at all. And so it's just a bucket list. I want to save the planet. So we're going to, ban leasing on federal lands. Yeah, we're going to do it. And then they reverse it. Then they get sued by oil and gas associations. Then they flood strategic petroleum reserves into the country. Paul Clank! Joe eats comfort shaping. Paul, thank you. And so nothing that he's done has worked. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's right there. It's right there. What has he done that's worked? What has this man done that's worked? We don't have our economy's in free fall. Foreign policy is a catastrophe. People were jumping off moving airplanes that are high in the sky and falling off. And that was in the beginning of his presidency. Now you have an invasion that's never ending. Europe is in a recession. So Europe is going to be in a recession. And you have JP Morgan. CEO warns U.S. is heading towards something worse than a recession. Okay. Economists have been warning of impending recession for months. Yeah. The smart economists, a great many, were like, oh, yeah, we're going to be rebound. One major financial player thinks things may end up being a lot worse than people are anticipating. What could be worse than a recession? Although Diamond acknowledges the U.S. economy is strong right now, it's not really strong. It's just functioning. There's a difference between functioning and strong. He's still convinced conditions are apt to deteriorate. He also said there's a 20 to 30% chance of facing something worse than a recession in the near term. We're already in a recession. How to prepare for a recession? We're already in a recession. And I love how these things are written. Seasoned economists, how to prepare for a recession. Well, we're in one now. The reality is that even seasoned economists can't necessarily predict with certainty whether a recession will hit, when it will hit, or how bad it will be. It has already hit where it's 2 quarters of negative growth. It has always been that way. That's always been the definition of a recession until it happened under Democrats. Then, of course, it's not a recession anymore. So the thing is, like, you have a situation where Atom Bomb 31458. I mean, I would not touch it for years, really, only because a market bottom is impossible to time. I don't even think we're close. I don't think we're close to a bottom. I don't think we're close to where even I would say, okay, it's probably going to go back up from here, because the thing is, the economy is on the downturn, and Unfortunately, I see a cataclysmic crash because what has buffered and what has been a safety net for the economy and the stock market is the $10 trillion in fiscal and monetary stimulus. We replicated an economy after we tanked and, ended economic activity at the demand of, because highly educated, morally superior bureaucrats told us we had, and experts, and told us we had to do so. Mary Goodwin, welcome to the most. Thank you, Mary, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. So, Animal 3458. It's like I don't 25 could get down to 25,000. The Dow could get down to 25,000, or lower. Because I mean, if you look, ladies and gentlemen, and by 31458 and everybody here, just look. I mean, corporate profits. If corporate profits get back to where they were here, which is not, it's not, that's not impossible. If things, in '08, they went down to where profits were in '05 or '06. So yeah, during the crash in '08. I was looking at the profits, corporate profits, chart of corporate profits, and they usually, well, the market coincides with a crash in corporate profits. So these valuations in the stock market, even the 30,000, this 30,822 is going to be 28,000 in a couple of months or sooner. So, or it could go back up to 33,000 again, and then eventually go back 20 to 28 or 27,000. But you have risky derivatives like '08. You have hedge funds that went under. Angela pudding, that was Marie Antoinette and cakes. Ah, yep, Angela, exactly. I think that Angela, thank you so much. I hope all is well. You look, in 1 month is down three. Here's also what's, because they've pumped so much money into the economy, the market doesn't crash, and corporate profits are still like they're declining, but they're still, okay. Once there's the next quarter or 2 quarters from now of corporate profits really hitting the fan, we have 3,000 points down in 1 month. You could have 3,000 points down in 1 day, and nobody will doubt that's a crash. And what happens if you see that type of thing takes place, you'll have hedge funds that go under, and you'll have banks that there could be a too big to fail moment. That's the system is not prepared right now for an actual 1 or 2 day like crash. So he went down 3,000 points. It goes back up 3,000, down 3,000, back up 3,000, down 3,000, and this is all under the backdrop of high interest rates, high inflation, and a shrinking economy. So if it goes up 3,000, down 3,000, up 3,000, down 3,000, what are the chances it goes way down? Okay, what are the chances it goes way down? I mean, you have an entire media, even the Motley Fool, or what is it? The Motley Fool, the Fool.com article. They this is a great article, but it doesn't acknowledge that we're in a recession already. We already are in a recession. I don't think people really, and if you look, ladies and gentlemen, here's one reason why they almost have to indict Trump in 23, because Joe Biden almost mashed potato brains will get impeached. But who is choosing in these polls? Who is choosing mashed potato brains Joe over Trump? I want to know this. It's a New York Times poll, and then you have a Wall Street Journal with mashed potato brains up 6. Why? Because people just absolutely love recession. I mean, that was in August, but you still have Trump in an average of polls up 0.7. You still have Trump. Tammy, hello. Indy, hello. So you still have Trump up 0.7. And so that's the thing. I mean, this is why the only thing they have, here's their only selling point. Everyone, all the smart people, everyone in society dislikes Trump, but half the electorate wants him. You have half the electorate who wants Donald Trump, almost half the electorate at all times. You will never wrestle that away. You can call him everything under the book, in the book, under the sun. You can blame him for everything that has ever happened in the known universe. You could do whatever you'd like. Everybody knows media journalists lie through their teeth all the time. They sensationalize, they twist, distort coverage of events simply, or they don't talk. I mean, the biggest way to actually suppress information or dialogue or discourse is don't even bring it up. Don't even bring it up. I mean, you have stories that just don't fit the narrative all the time on a whole bunch of different topics. You have a politician in Southern California who had firearms taken by burglars. And this is, of course, a politician who would love to erase the Second Amendment. And I'm on 31458. I've got 20% of money still in the market. I think I'll leave that in. I mean, you know your situation better than anyone. So it's whatever you feel is best for you. I think that's that is the most important. But also, if you don't need that money, and if you're okay with that money, going, but potentially, heaven forbid, down 20 or 30 or 40%. But long term, if you believe in the U.S. economy long term, and there you go. I think long term, that's going to be a big problem too. Um, Long term is going to be a big problem also because, thank you, Adam on 31458. Thank you so very, very much, as always. Long term is going to be a big problem because the last 20 to 30 years, since the mid 80s to today, we've had a bull market and the economy has always grown. But now we have inflation we have national debt that has surpassed GDP. And there's a push to address climate change that is not good for economic growth or business. Okay? And you have this obsession with saving the planet, which would be a good thing, but you don't even know if you're saving the planet. You have no clue. You have no clue. Every prediction they've made the past 20 years, oh, this is going to melt, that's the temperature's going to sea levels, right? None of them have been accurate. Or I should say very few. But they have you can't guarantee that any of these policies that they're pushing will save the planet. You can guarantee that if you make it difficult for oil and gas industry to operate, your energy costs will go up, and that'll prolong a recession, which will harm people. They use words with Trump like harmful, and Trump is dangerous. He's harmful. This is the Constitution. It's democracy. It's like, I don't think these people know what these words mean. We are in not only a recession, a prolonged recession. The economy is in free fall. Angela Goodwin. We had power lines out because of wind, flood, volcano, and tsunami alerts. And the termination dust is low. And it is only the beginning of winter. Exactly. Exactly. And you have Europe that is going into a prolonged, Angela, thank you so much. You have Europe that's going into a prolonged recession. Top economist says a European recession is done deal. U.S. might not be far behind. We're already in a recession. This is what I don't get. You look at all these, what part of 2 quarters of negative growth, how do people not accept that as a recession? Steelers freak. Hello. Every time, every single time. It remains to be seen whether recession is going to hit the U.S. The U.S. is already in a recession. We have two quarters of economic growth. They bring up they bring up um, the labor the unemployment rate, and they say, well, we're not in a recession because, well, look at the unemployment rate. It's like, well, it took 2 years to get there, so get back to where we were. It took 2 years to get back to where we were. So here, Associated Press, 6 months of contraction is a long-held informal definition of a recession. So, hello, it's a long, yeah. And then we're like, well, the broad economic conditions aren't consistent with recession. We'll get the layoffs, unfortunately, soon. It's like, these people are hilarious. Luna, hello. Mary, thank you. Love trucks, hello. To my Patreons, hello. And members and everybody here, thank you. Many economists have predicted the U.S. recession next year is likely. Yet, despite 2 quarters of negative GDP climb, the nonprofit organization tasked with officially calling one has yet to do so. The nonprofit tasked? What? There's no. If it was Trump, it would be like, recession, Trump, orange recession hits the U.S., hits the U.S. With Democrats, the eggheads say that it didn't really. Is there a recession? 2 quarters of negative growth, shrinking economy, inflation 8 to 9%, food prices rising, everything stinks. I don't see it's a recession. In U.S., 2 quarter negative isn't an official recession. Really? Since when? Since Democrats? Researchers led by Stanford professor will give the last word. Nah, sorry. Maybe we won't wait for that. Maybe we won't wait for his thought process on this. What are the chances that he's voting Democrat? That this man is a Democrat? Not to say that he's not brilliant, but if it's Trump, you better believe if it was Trump, he would say, no, recession, my goodness, recession, wow. Recessions have huge impact on market and U.S. politics. Yeah, they do. We have 8 to 9% inflation with a shrinking GDP. What part of shrinking economic growth and economy don't they get? Oh, it is a Stanford economist. Past members include Ben Bernanke. Okay. Oh, okay. In a committee full of people who despise Trump, they have concluded, drumroll please, no recession! Yay! No recession, everybody! What about the 3rd quarter of negative growth? No, don't be so quick to announce a recession. Until this committee says so. The committee we've never heard of, but whatever. It's really important. Researchers led by Stanford professor will give the last word. Says who? Who made these people the referee of our economy? This is the best. The committee's current methodology is sound. Q1's contraction is mainly due to strong imports. Okay, due to strong demand. After a slowdown inventory build due to combination of supply bottlenecks and gangbuster inventory building. What? It's hard to interpret that a weakness-driven contraction. It's hard to interpret that as a weakness-driven contraction? What? It was a contraction nonetheless. You mean we were growing so much we contracted? And then in the 2nd quarter, we were growing so much too, and then it would contracted. And in the 3rd quarter, we were growing. This economy's great, and contracted too. Oopsie. This is why the experts. This is why the experts are oftentimes full of bandini. It's like unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's a contraction that's not the economy didn't contract to a weakness driven contraction. This is a strength and growth. It's like when you lose the Super Bowl and you won the championship of losing in the last second Super Bowl championship. Yes. Why are you so excited and happy? You lost by a field goal. We had a great game. We didn't lose because we were bad. We lost. It was a growth driven last second loss in the Super Bowl. Fantastic. Trump bad. Trump bad. These people justify anything. They will justify anything. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. It's true. Goatee, that's true. David Bell, thank you. If we only had more time, we would have won. That's true. And so this is a strength driven weakness. It's not a weakness driven. Honestly, the recession isn't bad because, people still have money. They're still living. Oh, okay. Like you basically need fallout from a thermonuclear annihilation for them to be like, yeah, people are eating cockroaches. Yeah, we still don't know if it's a recession or not. I mean, everything's pretty much leveled to the ground. In other news, Trump, he's under criminal investigation by the one little tiny building left from the Justice Department after the world imploded because mashed potato brains Joe and Democrats took us to the brink of annihilation. But Trump is under investigation. Don't vote for him. He's bad. They will never. It will never end. It will never. It doesn't, like I told you. Look, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens. They will still always say. They will still always say, Anatia, hello. They will still always say that well, the real issue, democracy, entails that um we don't we don't get Trump back in the Oval Office. Phony document lands on court document Trump in court document Trump search case. So basically, they were duped, and it's 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 very amusing that they would be duped. That they would actually use this as part of the investigation into Trump. Exactly. News trip there is. It's a temporary. It's just temporary. Uh, it's right here. Phony document lands on court docket in Trump search case. A document purporting to be from the U.S. government and claiming the Treasury Department had information related to the search at Donald Trump's Florida estate was a fabrication. Then why are they duped? The incident also suggests that the court clerk was easily tricked into believing it was real, landing the document on the public docket. In the Mar-a-Lago search warrant case, it also highlights the vulnerability of the U.S. court system and raises questions about the court's vetting of documents that purport to be official record. So there you go. It's it's just one of the many amusing developments. One of the many amusing developments in Jesus. One of the many amusing developments in the never-ending saga to prevent Trump from actually leading us towards a great economy. So, read right, thank you. So, it's we're going to have third quarter negative growth. I'm telling you, look, it wouldn't matter, ladies and gentlemen, if the earth opened up. We had we were if you were in a car, God forbid, and you're driving and lightning hit your car at the same time a swarm of, hornets went in through your air conditioning vent and into your car and started stinging you, while at the same time a tsunami came and engulfed, the street that you were on. And then as the water, floated your car up into crashing waves, you see this great white shark right in front of your window. And all of this could take place. And then there's a lightning strike, and somehow the lightning gets to you, and then you're in water. So the whole thing's a bad situation, and everything's electrocuted. And you would turn to the person to your right, and that person would say, "At least Trump isn't tweeting," because they'd be a morally superior liberal Democrat. They're wonderful people. At least Trump isn't tweeting. And that's the world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. That's the world. I'm telling you. That's the world. There is never a moment. There will never be a moment that you could say, "Hey, I told you so." Cash flow, thank you. There's never a moment that you could say, "Oh, you probably, or do you like your," I mean, imagine, do you like this world that we live in? If you ask the average person, do they like this world? John, thank you, John. Chris, thank you. How does an Adam Shifty Shift despite being an obvious habitual light, like he's super amazing for his district? He's in Southern California. Interestingly enough, the amusing part is that his district has a great many firearm shops, which is it's kind of amusing, like really good ones too. It's like it's like the in his area of Southern California, it's one of the few places around Los Angeles that you can actually go to a whole bunch of different firearm shops. But I don't know. Basically, name recognition and the fact that, I mean, if you've been there for 20 years, I think he's been there a really long time. So, Chris, thank you. If you've been in a liberal district or a conservative district for like 10, 15, 20 years, you have the advantage of knowing everybody wealthy, quote unquote, important or politically important within the district. So it's that's why you see like Democrats in certain or in Republicans too, certain congressional districts forever. Love trucks, walls of water closing. Exactly. So Chris, I think it's just a matter of the fact that he's the longer you're there, the easier it is to keep your congressional seat. Also, he's I believe the House Intelligence Chairman, and he's always on CNN and MSNBC, and he's been on there for like years and years. So when you have that media support and you're in a liberal state, uh you're gonna, if you're a Democrat, you're gonna be there for a long time. So um I remember hearing in college from people like from a professor talking about Washington D.C. saying that they spend 60% of their time um, just fundraising. Stephanie Parker, no SNL from me. I love HJ. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so very much, Stephanie Parker. Thank you. So, Stephanie, thank you. So, Chris, if you spend 60% of your time fundraising, and you have, so he has the name recognition, he has the media support, he's in some pretty influential committees in Congress, and he's been there for, I don't know, what, 20 years or so. So it would be very difficult for another Democrat, because Democrats, it's a little bit different than Republicans. It's actually easier to unseat a Republican. Angela Goodwin! Thank you! The passing of Gorbachev should revisit and rethink the events of the last 40 years, because this is not what I was visioning on either side of the trough, hollering on top of the Berlin Wall. Wow! In the Gorky Park because of the winds of change. Angela Goodwin, were you there? Were you there that day? Wow, Angela, thank you. Angela, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we are now closer. We're actually closer to, God forbid, nuclear annihilation than even in at well, definitely from than that day. Um, you know, um, that was in 1989. Angela, thank you. That was in 1989, Angela. Thank you so much. Were you there that day? That was an amazing moment in history. Um, and I think that we've squandered. Yeah, I know that that's a great song too by Scorpions. Um, we've squandered whatever peace that we could have had. Gorbachev, by the way, opposes. They interviewed him the past couple of years, and he opposed the prevailing mentality of what was taking place between the West and his country. Ronald Jarvis, thank you, Ronald. We will win. We, the people, will win. That's right. Thank you, Ronald. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Ronald Jarvis. Angela, I agree with you. I agree with you, and it's very sad, and it's unfortunate because we had from 1945 to 1989, um, a Cold War. We had the Cuban Missile Crisis, Bay of Pigs before then, the Cuban Missile Crisis. We were supposed to learn. Kennedy was. That's what made Kennedy, in my mind, a great president. The fact that he didn't listen to his experts, he didn't listen to the intel community, he didn't listen to his generals, and he didn't invade Cuba. If Trump did what Kennedy did, they would say Trump emboldening hit our adversaries and not listening to our wonderful intel community and the generals that they're always trying to give a foil, like the generals oppose Trump. Everyone opposes Trump. It's like, well, maybe are there any generals that agree with Trump? Because the interesting thing is you've had many people in the military, and God bless all the people, soldiers watching this, and veterans. God bless you. Thank you, who watch my channel. Thank you. But the military, like by a 2-to-1 margin, votes overwhelmingly Republican, but also for Trump. They love Trump. Generally, not saying everybody, but generally. Um, I mean, Angela, you're right. Ronald, thank you. Angela, thank you again. So kind of you. Thank you, Michelle and and Angela, everybody here. Ronald, I appreciate your support. We we don't really understand, like, when they talk about how Trump is a menace to democracy. Like, these people are so far removed. Like when AOC says, Abbott and DeSantis crimes against humanity. It's like, do you know what that means? Yad Vashem had to educate her online. And I wrote a Jerusalem Post article, op-ed, on AOC's twisted, absurd view of history. Everything is this extreme leap of logic. Like, no, it's not a crime against humanity. It is not a political stunt at all. Morality is not dependent on geography. Democrats are like, oh, they went to your state. It's like, no, that doesn't mean you're moral because you're located in the Northeast. Okay? The whole Martha's Vineyard thing is absolutely hilarious. And like I said, when push comes to shove, they become Trump Republicans. Every Democrat is one calamity away from being a Trump Republican. Whether it's, God forbid, violent criminal interaction or an influx of human beings that they claim to love, but reality just want to give, like, Fruit Loops and Cocoa Puffs and like there was this picture on Fox News where you have the wealthiest, like Martha's Vineyard makes Beverly Hills look like nothing. Martha's Vineyard is, Rand, hello. Martha's Vineyard is one of the, you have President Obama living there. He's not living in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is not near the wealth, not even near the prestige anymore of Martha's Vineyard. It has to be the top 3 wealthiest places in the country, maybe the top 5, 6 in the entire world. Okay? And only liberal Democrats. Maybe some conservatives here and there. And the second they experience what Republican cities or red states experience, the second you see their true colors, you see who they are, and suddenly they become Trump Republicans. And then they say, that's crimes, you're removing them illegally. It's like, no, you don't understand. You're making a statement that's so absurd and so comical. And like their whole thing, their defense is a good offense. So they're like, you can't do this. Like, and so they get angry. They think that if they get angry, that it kind of shields them from the hypocrisy. It's like, no, everyone knows now. That is the best political move, that I've seen in a long time. I don't even think Trump has done something. Robbie, hello. I don't even think Trump has done something that was that effective in terms of showing them who they are. That was an amazing political move. And then you have these liberals saying, we don't have the resources. That's exactly the conservative rebuttal. Exactly the conservative rebuttal. For decades, it's been the same. And then Democrats who didn't live in the geographical location of where the influx of wonderful, God bless them, beautiful human beings who want a better life. But there are laws that there are laws. And so then Democrats say, well, we don't have the resources. Like, oh, okay. So now it's okay if you don't have the resources, but other cities and towns that don't have the resources run by Republicans, when they've been saying this for decades, you just laugh at them and ignore them and just pontificate about how great you are. So, it pretty much shows the world. And to say that Martha's Vineyard doesn't have the resources they get a GoFundMe as if they're like a normal person. Are you kidding me? These people are not just millionaires. They're like, many are former presidents. The wealthiest Hollywood celebrities, Hollywood directors, they have the money. You could build a facility there for thousands of human beings within 2-3 years, just from like donations from people within Martha's Vineyard. It wouldn't be a big deal for them. And these are the people who want your taxes raised, and these are the people who pontificate about how morally superior they are and how cruel Trump is, even though there was a Senate panel on what took place during President Obama's administration, far worse than anything that happened. And I was against the separation. Yeah, that was bad. He stopped that, though. He pretty much stopped that. Thomas O'Connor! Thank you, Thomas! Thank you so very much. Thomas O'Connor, thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated, Thomas. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, Angela, Thomas, Michelle, thank you, Thomas O'Connor. I hope you're having a great evening. Thank you, sir. I mean, you're going into midterms. If you vote Democrat in midterms, you're either very wealthy, you have very few economic concerns, you're wealthy, and you despise Trump in the most irrational manner. This is the hallmark, by the way, of people who truly despise Trump. They're very wealthy. They're apoplectic, and they just feel a sense of like moral superiority. They're unable to have a debate because they get into this hysterical rage, and they're wealthy. They have the money to, live through a prolonged Biden Democrat recession, depression, horrible foreign policy. Um, the problem, however, is that the rest of the country, most people can't afford a bad economy and with the promise of no Trump tweets. So, so it's like people have traded in a great economic future simply because they don't like a person's personality. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm running out of steam. Thomas O'Connor, thank you so much. Angela, Michelle, everyone here. Michelle and Angela, thank you. Can't thank you both enough. Everyone here to my super chat, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead, share my first short ever, and go ahead and share that. It's me and the Honorable James Comey. You'll love it. You will love it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back tomorrow. I should be doing a live stream tomorrow evening. So be here tomorrow evening. And ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel and the Stock Market Crash channel. And everybody, I will see you soon, everyone. Thank you so much. Check out the upload tomorrow at like around 9:30.